Trying to purchase Osaka Expo 2025 tickets can be so frustrating. But don't give up.
In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step, page by page, screen by screen through the official Expo 2025 website so that you'll know how to purchase your tickets and enjoy the Expo.
But before we dive into the details, I recommend you also watch our other video on Osaka Expo 2025 so you can learn more about what it offers from the amazing pavilions, concerts, and foods from all around the world.
So, since releasing our other video on the Expo, I've had dozens and dozens and dozens of emails and comments from people who are expressing their frustration at the whole Expo 2025 ticketing process. So I hope to fix that with this video here.
It is incredibly complicated and not very user-friendly despite the best efforts of the organizers.
After all you want to do is purchase a ticket for a day or two or three to your preferred pavilions, and it seems like it should be simple, but it's not. So what is involved?
First, a disclaimer. The following information is based on the official Expo site and our personal experience in purchasing tickets. Even after several days and innumerable hours on the site, I still don't understand it all, and there are questions I have that are still unanswered.
Now this video is going to be different than all of our others. It's very in-depth, instructive, so let's dive into the deep end and figure out Expo 2025.
The landing page of the official website looks like this. On the top right of the page is a tab for tickets, which opens up this page. There's a short video, but honestly, it doesn't provide much help as it oversimplifies the entire process. Below this are three tabs for the types of tickets available, the process to purchase tickets, and the infuriatingly difficult reservation and lottery process. I'll pause here to mention that there are three primary things you need to consider. There's the creation of your Expo ID, which is required in order to purchase tickets. There's the actual purchase of the tickets that get you inside. Then there's the timed entry reservation for getting into certain pavilions.
That is, with a ticket, you can get inside the Expo, but you won't necessarily get into all the pavilions because some of them have a timed entry requirement. Think of it kind of like the old Disney World Fast Pass, where you get to set a time to go in and move to the front of the line, sort of like that.
So let's look at the purchase guide page. Before you can even purchase tickets, you must create an Expo ID account, and you start that here. Now notice that there is an Expo ID registration manual. Only click this if you want to completely lose heart. Why? This manual is 28 pages long.
Literally, it's a 28-page PDF detailing everything about how to go about getting your Expo ID. It's crazy.
After clicking to start the Expo ID process, you must read through the rules, and in order to click the acknowledgement button, you must scroll through all the verbiage. I didn't read all the legalese, and I doubt anyone will. So scroll through, click the button. Then after clicking, I am over 16 years of age, click the proceed button. Once you've clicked it, you then must register via your email address. Follow the instructions in the email you receive and then create your profile. But keep in mind, everyone attending the Expo must have an Expo ID.
Now, it's a little unclear as to how you will use the Expo ID once you're inside the gate or get to the gate. It's even unclear as to whether or not children 3 years and under need to have an Expo ID. However, keep this in mind. Children 3 years and under must have a ticket. The tickets are free for them, but they must have their own ticket.
So after registering yourself, you'll get this page to proceed to the login. Here is where you log in for the first time, and you can do it using other means as well. So the first step is to use your biometric registration, such as facial recognition, for creating the Expo ID. You can do this using the camera on your laptop or on your phone, but of course if you do it on your phone, you must start the process using your phone. After you've done your biometrics, you'll come to this screen wherein you can actually start the ticket purchase process. Again, familiarize yourself with all the ticket options. There are early bird tickets, half-season tickets, day tickets, season tickets, etc., etc. Start by clicking the specify the date and time of your visit and purchase. One important note to understand is which gate you will use to enter. Most likely you will enter using the East Gate since that is the gate closest to the new subway station. But if coming by shuttle bus, you'll come in at the West Gate. After you select the dates, you then must select your approximate time of arrival. You'll be taken to this screen where you actually select the tickets. You're very likely to come back to this screen from time to time during the process, as this is where you'll start the process to apply for timed entry reservations. On the next page, you will select the type of tickets you want, but once you've made your purchase, you can see your digital tickets that look like this. Obviously, I've covered up my personal information, but notice the important statement at the bottom of each ticket. In order to apply for a timed entry reservation for a pavilion, you must apply no later than 60 days before the day you attend the expo, but you cannot apply for the timed entry before 90 days before you attend. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's February 20th and you just purchased a ticket for July 1st. It is my understanding, though I won't guarantee, that you cannot yet apply for a timed entry reservation. You must wait until April 2nd, which is 90 days before your day of attendance at the expo. Then from April 2nd until May 2nd, you have the time to submit your entry reservation requests. That is, you have a 30-day window that expires 60 days before you attend the expo, so don't let it slip up on you.
Now, I don't know about you, but right about now, I'm ready for a coffee break.
Moving on, you next come to the screen whereby you apply for the timed entry reservation, or the lottery as it is called. It's a lottery because you are not guaranteed to get your selection. You submit your preferred pavilions and preferred dates and times, then submit, and supposedly 2 months before your attendance date, you'll be informed if you received your choices.
Again, it's a little nuts because you won't really know what you've got until it's too late to change it, but whatever.
So on this screen, you'll see thumbnails of your tickets. You select the tickets that are appropriate to the dates you want to submit for timed entry. Once you've selected the tickets, you click here to proceed to the page where you make your pavilion selection. Here you'll see that you can submit up to 5 choices based on your preferences. Click the Register button and you come to this, the Select Pavilion page.
Now, logically, you would assume in this input field where it says Search Pavilions, Concerts, etc., you simply insert the name of the pavilion, such as Japan or the Future City Pavilion. But if you do that, you'll get a big no results response. So if you type in the word pavilions, you'll also get another no results response. What you must do in order to search the pavilions is simply insert the word pavilion, singular, no S.
So after entering the word pavilion, you will get a list of the pavilions offering timed entry. However, as of this video, not all of the pavilions that are supposed to offer timed entry are available or listed here. The list is changing, so keep up with it as you need. By clicking one of the Click Here for details, you'll be taken to the page specific to that pavilion with more information. Once you've selected a pavilion, you then select the time you'd like to arrive at that pavilion. Pay attention that it states reservations are required for children under 3 years old.
I can only imagine how many parents will show up at the pavilion feeling good that they got their reservations and such, only to be told that Junior, under 3 years old, doesn't have a reservation and therefore cannot come in. By now, I suppose you're understanding why advanced ticket sales are sluggish.
Once you've selected your time slot, you'll get this screen and the option to add another time slot, which is recommended in case you don't get your first choice. Now, I'm going to share some other pages and insights that will help you select the pavilions and plan your visit. These pages are not that easy to find, so you have to do some digging around.
But before I share these other pages and move on, please click the like and subscribe buttons. It helps us know we're doing something right. It's free, it's easy, it's quick, you won't be put on any mailing list, and it encourages us to make more of these. And be sure to click that notification button so you won't miss out on any future videos. And we thank you. Now, something everybody wants to find is a map of the expo, but it's not that readily available. Why? I don't know.
But from the main expo page, if you click Understanding the Expo and click Master Plan, you're taken to a page that is definitely not for visitors, but is more of a public relations announcement with all kinds of details about the expo that is of zero interest to the regular visitor. So go back to the main expo page, and if you click this button, for expo site information, you are taken to another map. And this one looks more user-friendly, but it isn't. It is not a clickable map. So if you look below the image and click Map, it takes you to another map, but at least at the bottom there are clickable buttons to take you to the various neighborhoods of the expo. If I click Signature Zone, for example, we zoom into the Signature Zone, but guess what? It's also not a clickable map. It tells you nothing about the pavilions or what it is what. So what do we do?
Fortunately for you and me, after doing a lot of digging around, I came upon this map page.
It is not accessed from the official Expo site, but from the expovisitors.expo2025 site. If you click the Venue Map tab, you will get this somewhat interactive map. And I say somewhat because it also is limited. For example, if I click the Connecting Zone, it moves me deeper into that neighborhood, and if I continue clicking, I get closer and closer.
I could then click an icon over one of the buildings, and at least with this map, it tells me off to the side what pavilion it is that I'm looking at. So consider that a victory, although it's a hollow one.
But here's the best map I've found. It is buried somewhere inside the official website, and honestly, I can't find my way back to it, so I'm thankful I saved the bookmark. Like the others, this is also not an interactive map, but it is a downloadable PDF naming all of the pavilions within the ring. The next 2 pages of this PDF list all the pavilions and matches them up to the map. I will post the link to this page in the description of this video.
Of course, they're not in alphabetical order. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? But at least you could do like I did, print out the map and highlight those you want to see in the order you wish to see them.
However, this map only shows those pavilions inside the Great Ring. There are many other pavilions outside the ring at the east and west gate areas, so you're on your own figuring out those.
So what about getting the scoop on the pavilions? That seems like it should be pretty straightforward, right? Well, as with most things on this website, it's not that easy.
From the main expo page, if you scroll down a ways, you can click this link to go to the participant pavilions, and it does a decent job of presenting thumbnails of the various pavilions which you can click to be taken to their pages. They're not all that complete, though they have a lot of information that you will want to know. On the other Expo site for the Expo 2025 visitors, if you click the word Pavilion, you'll also get another screen showing the pavilions. However, trust me, this one is frustrating because every time you click the link of a pavilion, say on page 6, you can't just move back onto page 7 or 8. You are always taken back to page 1 and have to start over. However, the details page on this site is a little more informative than the official website, and here's what I mean. Here's a screenshot of both the official Expo site and the other official website. On the left, I've drilled down to the Germany pavilion, and it provides me some basic information and nice images. But if I go to the second site, I get a description and some nice images, but also get a link to the interactive map. I also get more details about the pavilion's hours and what is offered. It is also here where the pavilions will list if they have timed entry or not.
So in conclusion, both websites are confusing. The timed entry process is convoluted. I've done my best to break it down, but I may have made a mistake or two. So a disclaimer is, do your own research, be responsible for your own purchase. If you find something different, send it to me in a comment. But this is here to help you and to help you avoid the steep learning curve that I had to go through. So is Expo 2025 worth it? Well, in my opinion, yes. Is it worth it even with potentially large crowds and glitches at the gate? Yes, I would still do it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of event for most of us. So plunge on ahead and stick to it, and you can make it happen.
Now, if you give up on Expo 2025 in Osaka, I suggest you consider visiting Nagoya, Kobe, or Hiroshima as alternatives. Nagoya has an incredible amount of things to do, such as the SC Maglev Museum, the Meiji Mura Village, and Toyota Commemorative Museum, yet is overlooked and thus not crowded. Kobe is a unique compact city with an amazing pedestrian-friendly waterfront with museums, restaurants, and activities close together. Hiroshima is of course famous for the atomic bomb drop, but there are some excellent day trips to places such as Kure and Higashi Hiroshima with its 7 sake brewery walking course. You can find the links to these videos on each of these 3 amazing cities in the description below. And we hope you'll watch and enjoy them all.
So I really hope this video has been helpful and will spare you some heartache. You can learn from my lessons. I'd love to hear about your experience going through the ticketing process. You can put that in the comments below. Also, please remember to subscribe and like the channel. We're trying to grow it here, so every view and every comment is a real plus. And perhaps we'll bump into each other at Expo 2025. You never know. And until next time, sayonara.